Welcome everybody to Tuesday night workshop at Monarch Family Chiropractic. I'm Dr. Kristen, and we are going to dive into some healthy alternatives from nature and what that looks like to us and things that we recommend and patients ask us about all the time. And so we're going to jump right in. And we're going to start with you getting to see a picture of my two munchkins. Why this topic drives me is that there was a time when I didn't really think about what I used in my house, what products were doing what, and what was in them. As much as we pay attention to all the things in our healthcare world and the naturopathic ways in which we choose to live, there were definitely things that I didn't pay much attention to until 11 years ago or so, when I got this beautiful boxer and I became a fur mom. And I started thinking about the things that he touched when, he just walked on our floors, walked in our house, licked up things off of the floor, and started thinking about, changing the chemicals I was putting in our house and in our environment that was, not just maybe something touching our skin, but also touching his skin and getting into his system and pores every day. And then, 4.5 years ago, having my son, it was, game changer as to what else we did. What were we putting in our bodies? What were we putting in the house? What were we putting in that would touch his skin? And that would be what his body got exposed to. And our skin is our biggest organ, right? So it gets absorbed so much. And what was the scary factor was that at least 5-7 years ago, is when I completely changed many things I was using and really had that bigger aha moment when I realized that I loaded the dishwasher and put a bunch of detergent and put different things into, clean and start the cycle, and came back while leaving that door open, and the lemon scented or fruity scented whatever I was buying as the detergent, Hester came and lapped all up before I could close the bin, close the door, and start the dishwasher. And I freaked out that I had poisoned my dog. And at the time, my one and only baby, right? And so we had a trip planned. We canceled our whole weekend because I was monitoring him and, worrying about, did I need to call, poison control and give him something to make him throw up? And we were very fortunate that he didn't ingest enough of it that it became something really serious that way. But those kinds of things, again, can happen in an instant, can happen with a pup, can happen with an animal, can happen with a kiddo, when we're not paying attention for even the split second. And so that's, a big reason of thinking about what do we want to do for our overall health, and, what types of things, if you couldn't ingest it, if you couldn't put it in your body, if it could harm you, is it the right thing to be using, right? And so as we dive in, we're going to talk about alternatives for things like our aches and pains that we have. People ask us all the time, what do we use? What do we recommend? Things in relation to histamines and allergies. And then diving into some fun things with, it's summer, it's outdoor activity, it's protecting ourselves from too much B and A rays all the time, right? In the state and the high altitude that we live in. And then making natural things in plants and in our environment fun by what you could add to summer cooking when we're in these 90 and 100-degree days back to back to back. So muscle love and supporting them. I really dive into a lot of essential oils. So I may target more of those things that I use. But it's thinking about something that is not toxic. There are other products out there. It's just getting a company that is using and sourcing from responsible and reputable places, that you're getting things really directly from plants in the earth that are not being sprayed with pesticides and chemicals, right? So it's about taking out chemicals, fragrances, perfumes, those types of things. And so I use a particular brand, but there are a few really good ones out there. Things that you're going to buy in your grocery store are not. They're mostly filled with perfumes and fillers. So I would really, again, become a label reader in that way. But I just alluded to this a minute ago. And so we would love participation. And in the sense of you can type into the chat and we will see that at the end. But, really, it's got to be safe on your biggest organ. And what did we just say that was? What's the biggest organ? Right, our skin. So when we think about things we're going to put on ourselves, and how much we're going to absorb into our bodies, what are those kind of things? So there is so much we could cover in this 30-minute workshop, but we're going to touch on things that people I think are really familiar with. Turmeric oil is so great in decreasing stress and inflammation. I think about post-camping or activity or a workout or a run. We have patients right now going through their triathlons and duathlons and, really at some intense competition and workouts, training for 100-mile rides on their bikes. So with activity or massage, that's a great way to use turmeric oil instead of just a capsule supplement, is giving the muscle some love. With the brand of essential oil I use with doTERRA, and have used ever since the laundry and dishwasher incident, in many ways, that is Deep Blue, is a combination of many of the plant-based mints, and so things like peppermint, wintergreen, spearmint, aloe vera, eucalyptus, all things that are very calming, and different ways in which you can use those, right? So when they are safe and healthy, you could use them aromatically, right? You can put something in a diffuser with water. You could topically put it on your skin, whether it's a little bit pure, or you take a bigger amount and you dilute it with, say, like coconut oil. And you can do many of these and ingest them. So just like you, instead of reaching for a Tylenol, an Advil, an ibuprofen, or any kind of a muscle relaxer or stronger than that, these are very, very effective. So they can come in like a stick, like a rub on, like a deodorant. It can come in a lotion, the capsule form where you can literally do ingestible pearls that is getting those muscles some of that deeper internal relaxation that way. If you want to do that and not smell like a mint balm, that's another benefit of being able to ingest some of these things. And then there's just the straight oil version that you can dilute or put in a diffuser. Tea tree is also great when you think about just irritated skin, things for cooling or soothing, whether it's after shaving. A great way to use many oils is putting it on the bottom of your feet. It soaks in through those pores immediately. If you have never seen this test or have never heard us talk about it, or you've never tried this, if you don't really feel like that could get into your system very quickly, I want you to take a little clove of garlic, take off the wrapper, stick it between your toe, big toe and second toe, and wait 30 minutes. You will reek like garlic. It gets into your pores that fast and starts coming out the skin. So there's multiple ways in using things like tea tree for calming, bug bites, things like that. But in the muscle component, those are great ones that are my go-tos all the time. Thinking about things that calm and soothe, right? So allergies, sinuses, inflammation there, things that create that histamine response. Lavender is at the top of the list for almost all categories with many things, with soothing, reducing inflammation, calming the system, right? Decreasing that inflammation process. And so it's also great for sleep and restfulness and taking your body into more of that parasympathetic calmer state. There's things that triggers from brain through our senses, through, again, our pores. Another brand that is really good at opening the airways and creating that dilation, right? So we can get more air in, is one that has a blend of about 5 different oils, some of them, again, those mints, and others. I didn't list them off the top of my head because there's too much to cover, but we have all this in the office and there's data we can send you if you want to look into what is in each one. But Breathe is a blend of oils, or different ones that are, again, opening airways, minimizing some of those seasonal threats. And another version of it in a capsule is when you blend lemon, which is kind of cleansing, and lavender, which is calming, and peppermint, which is opening and dilating, getting that respiratory system to open up. It's called Tri-Ease. There's another phenomenal one that we carry in the office called Dehist. And so it's, again, helping minimize that inflammation and histamine response. We have a lot of kids going through this right now. They're going into camps, they're doing soccer, they're on grass and fields that are getting treated all the time. And so they're running in it, they're breathing that in, and they're having a lot of allergies and inflammatory responses from the things that they're breathing in on the fields. As we get into the great outdoors, something that I love to do and spend many weekends doing this time of year is being out in nature, but also thinking about how do we take those things outside of our home when we want to travel or we want to be doing things, out in nature and not necessarily using chemical things. There is a whole line of non-chemical cleaning type of property, agents or property, anything from hand soap to it being a version of toothpaste to sanitizer to wipes to the oil itself to different versions of the pearls that you can ingest. But the On Guard line is multiple plant-based oils that are antiviral, antibacterial, and they really support immunity. So it's really like the most bang for your buck for the way in which I can use that with several drops of oil in a spray bottle of water and clean my counters and clean my bathroom and clean my floors and clean all the things the kiddos touch and wipe down toys or sanitize any of the things. And sometimes even I'm using it on my cloth or my furniture. I use it on my wood table and it hasn't done any damage to it in 10 years. The kids have done more damage to it. Xander's done more damage to it in 3 years than cleaning it has done in 10, with wear and tear. And so there's multiple ways in which you can use things to, again, safely clean without chemicals. Arbor Vitae, it's not an oil that I have here at the office. It's not one that I've used much, but it is also one that's really powerful for cleansing and purifying. And it's kind of that warm, earthy type of scent and smell, which On Guard is similar as well. Another property that's silver infused cloths is the Norwex. That's what you see us using in the office every day. It's what we wipe everything down with. And when the silver gets activated, it is killing off any germs or bacteria that it touches. And so that's what you see us wipe down tables with, wipe down the chairs with, wipe down the doorknobs, the carpet when something gets spilled. They are a phenomenal thing to have for your home, for your office. And again, a very safe and gentle way to be cleaning things very thoroughly without chemicals. And not even creating a lot of waste too. Like I just read that I think it's in the top 5. It might be the 3rd most wasteful product we use is wipes. And I think that just went, 12-fold when COVID happened. And then now it's, everybody's buys wipes like it's their job. And, we became more hyper vigilant on being hopefully hygienic and clean. And there's also just an excessive amount of waste happening with the way we're doing it. So thinking about, again, things that are safer that aren't ruining our environment as well. Repelling bugs is a great way to use natural things so that you're using something that is safe, but there are citronella oils that are, again, extracted from grass that's grown in Asia with an essential oil version. That way you're getting something pure and you're able to use things that are, again, it's a very kind of crisper, fresher scent. It helps with masking our human scent. So that's what can keep and deter the bugs and the insects. As well as there's a line that is a blend of the citronella, lemongrass, thyme, cedarwood, geranium, and peppermint with a sesame seed oil base, which is what this TerraGuard is. And that is another version of a spray combined with the oil that is great for being able to use out and about, out in, camping, out near the water in the lakes, and be safe to put on the skin. So that is my go-to. And there's many ways you can use it and diffuse it. So you could use it if you're outside and you don't want to attract the bugs to you and you don't necessarily have to spray yourself. Um, Talking about the ambiance of what we might want in the outdoors, and we're in nature and it's, a serene place. This one is also one that I don't necessarily have in the office right at the moment, but it's a newer one that they call the Northern Escape, but it's very tranquil. It also does the same thing with eliminating odors and creating that calm effect that lavender does. But it's also like lemon and citrus do the same things. Using cooling wipes with peppermint is a great way to cool the skin. So when I think about things that, like when people get too much heat exposure, and have, that almost kind of reaction to too much sun or heat, peppermint is a great one to use. Someone gets headaches or migraines, peppermint is a great one to use on the back of the neck and the temples. So it just cools the system down. So that can really help when we're outside or we're getting too much exposure to some of these really hot days, if we're not getting enough hydration and shade. So ways in which you can add to, and you think about eliminating odors. This one came up because I have a friend who has 3 boys, and 2 boys and a girl, excuse me. And the oldest is a boy and is hitting that puberty age. And it's just like, she's like, our household has changed. Like, he has to shower every day. His room smells disgusting. He sucks. He's just going through puberty and he's getting hormones. And it's just the changing of even just odors and ways that she can spray and use things in his room. So she feels like she can walk into it. Right. And so even just in ways like that you think about, instead of plugging in something that's very perfumey or chemical that you're buying at the store, there's lots of diffusers that you can get that are for your own natural product that don't have to be some of that chemical-based stuff that's in the grocery store. There's even ones you can put that you attach to your vent in your car. So you could use a diffuser when you turn your air conditioning on or your vent on in your car, and it diffuses that scent in your vehicle. Some other things that we got asked to touch on was how can we incorporate this into some of my favorite time of things to eat, which is grilling and cooking out and having such fresh vegetables and fruit this time of year, and being creative with it and doing it with different things that mimic, say, sauces and pairings we like to do for spice. And so there's, I put just a few. There's so many that we have and resources to, but the 3 that I picked was doing something that, like this pink pepper oil. It's a great way. It's sourced from the pink peppercorn berry. It's like substituting for like a black peppercorn, black pepper. It's got a spicy yet kind of fruity flavor, and it really pairs well with meats and sauces. It can even give that spicy kick to like coffee or tea. So does the On Guard. So you can have the immune properties and have kind of that spicy, earthy, warm flavor, and by adding it to your water, your tea, your coffee, if you would. But I am like kind of a meat sauce person when it comes to grilling and it comes to just making really yummy food, or kebabs, things like in the picture there. So I love the fact that we can add in these things that are very healthy and natural, but sometimes it's easier to do that with the oil. It lasts forever and you don't have to worry about something being fresh or being able to access it at your store. This has become a new household favorite of making our own popsicles. And so we're mixing in fresh fruit, blending up fruit and chunks of fruit with water, and creating different flavors with what we have in our fruit, but creating like a mint or creating a different flavor with using a drop or 2 of the essential oils in our popsicle forms. And so Citrus Bliss is a great blend of multiple citrusy flavors. You can get just a pure lemon or lime or wild orange or tangerine or grapefruit. But Citrus Bliss is one of my all-time favorite citrus blends. That is just amazing for diffusing and also just great for adding in for flavor. And we're a household that loves tart and kind of soury tart flavors. So the Citrus Bliss is really nice to tone down some of the really tartness of say like a lime or a lemon. Spearmint's another great one or wintergreen or peppermint if you like that flavor. So we've been making like mint creamsicles with different flavors of fruit mixing in with the oils. So you can go crazy with all kinds of combinations there. And And it's very little. When it's a pure essential oil or a pure product, you need very, very little. So they say, I think a couple drops of lemon is like squeezing 10 full lemons into something. So it's really, really concentrated. Another amazing recipe I just landed upon that we did when we kind of had more of those the succession of those rainy kind of days a month or two ago, a couple months ago, was this coconut lemongrass red lentil soup. So what I did is I just put the link there, but we can send any of that to you, or as you look at the recording, you could copy that down, and we can send it to you if you want to get some great recipes. One thing that I may not have added in here that it looks like I maybe didn't get the link into is a few other oils and clever ways to use them. I think we covered most of them from the sense of cleaning and sanitizing, repelling the pests and the bugs, adding to summer drinks and really just spicing up your either drink, cocktail, or palate with the foods you're eating, and maybe wanting to change up, creating a different spice. Things that keep you cool on a hot summer day. And again, from soothing skin, purifying the air, freshening your breath, all those things don't need to be store-bought, chemical, sugar-laden, artificial-laden products. You can really get them in very natural ways. Recipes that did not make it into this workshop, but that I had Kayla and I kind of printed off, and we can send the link to if someone's interested. You just let us know and you give us your takeaway from the workshop. There was a really great set of recipes that people put on the site that they've been trying this summer, especially getting through a 4th of July holiday. One was they call it the layered 4th of July parfait. So it was really being able to do fresh fruit and Greek yogurt and granola, but using some drops of lemon and a few different oils to really give it that kick and that little zest. Flavoring your syrup, doing some things, adding like the cinnamon essential oil, or adding pure like Madagascar vanilla. Was amazing to add, or to kind of do with your favorite type of maple syrup, is to give something a lemon or cinnamon taste. Blueberry watermelon water has become one of our favorites, as well as mango watermelon. And so we've been doing, again, some of that we're finding really readily in our grocery stores, others we're not. So we're just introducing the oils to create natural flavors and changing it up. And then one of my favorite things that's really refreshing, I feel like, for a dessert that's not heavy and that's not sugary sweet, is doing like a pizza a fruit pizza. And so, doing something where you can do a basic sugar cookie recipe or a really easy dough recipe from scratch that doesn't take but a few ingredients. And then, doing things like either cream cheese and adding in something to make up either a little bit of like Cool Whip, or something that if you want to use like powdered sugar to have that little bit of sugar, but then being able to do vanilla in different forms of either extract or through an oil, and then taking fruit, and then again taking a lemon or a lime or the orange, or if you're a grapefruit, or if you're a tangerine, like whatever that citrusy or whatever kind of flavor floats your boat, it's adding that into either the Cool Whip or different things like that. So you're getting a different flavor. There is a handful of others on the site, from drinks to smoothies to more kind of meat or sauce dishes. And again, we can share that with you at a later time when you're in the office and giving us your takeaway and feedback. So I guess I would end this with, hopefully that gives you some ideas of where you can branch out and use things that are natural for the body, natural for your skin, safe and effective for kids, from babies, as long as you're just diluting things the right way. You can use this on infants, many of the things we just talked about, all the way up to just spicing up what you're doing with your dishes in the heat when maybe we are outside grilling, or we don't want to turn on our oven in the house, or we're finding other ways to prepare our meals in healthy ways. So we always want to end with, who do you know? Who in your community could use hearing information that we're sharing that makes their life more supported in health and vitality, and more of that, you know, salutogenic way of not putting more that's not natural into our system and something more that is, and doing it with our community, doing it with our kids, doing it with, you know, our neighbors that we're getting together with and having cookouts, doing it in who you spend your time with. And so I would end with, you know, who do you know? Who do you know that suffers from something that's an ache or a pain? That it's not normal, it's just common, right? It's common for people to have headaches, back pain, muscles that they just think are supposed to be like that, that don't need to be. So even if it's just feeling like it's from that component that allows them to come in and get started by getting checked, right? As Walt Disney said, the way to get started is to quit talking about it and begin doing, right? So if there's somebody that's doing a lot of talking, but not a lot of doing anything different about it, maybe this is a point in a way in which you can connect us to them to just get checked and see if it has something to do with how their system needs some support and what we can do that helps open their eyes to a possibility that they may not have known was possible, in a way in which they can change the health trajectory for themselves, their loved ones, their family, their friends, their community, and their outreach. So we will continue to ask you who you know, because we know it's just going to create a healthier community for all of us, and one that lives longer, one that does supportive things for our environment, right? And helps change that trajectory of the world we live in. So thank you for joining us. I am excited to open up the chat and see if there's any takeaways or any comments and shares. If I can get to that point. Oh, Kayla, I might need your help. Oh, maybe I can get there. Hang on. So if anyone does want to chat in, you certainly can. I'm going to end the slideshow presentation for recording, but we're happy for those that participate and come and give us their takeaways and share with us what they're going to do. I have some fun little giveaways that I want to just spread the love and the joy in what we do in the office, and ways in which you can take some of these things and put them into action, and start introducing, pick one thing from this that you want to introduce into your healthy lifestyle living, and we're happy to support you with that.